Reportage, the International Magazine of Photojournalism, issue 4, spring 1994, price £3.50. The third one I've shown on camera reviews. I'm just going to check to see who this cover is. It is cover backstage at London Colosseum by Gerard Uferas. There's some more of his work in here. So that's backstage at, let me just check again, backstage at the London Colosseum. All right, cool. That's a gorgeous picture. You can see that there. And at the back, it's sponsored by a Nadav Kanda shop, and it's Metro Electronic Images. Okay, that's a part of Metro, Metro, the sort of film processing lab. Okay, so let's have a look through it. Now, in this issue, I noticed that, let me just see if I can position this right. Let's get it down a bit. There will be some crop because I'm getting in nice and close. Northern Ireland, Andrew Moore's work, yes. Borderlines, photographs by Andrew Moore taken near the wall known as the Peace Line, which separates the Protestant and Catholic areas of West Belfast. Top, that's the top, and the bridge over the motorway around the Catholic West Belfast in the city centre, 1994. Incredibly strong shots. The violent history of Northern Ireland. This beautiful shot, look at that. It's interesting how we accept beautiful images to sum up really horrific pictures, and that we're so accustomed to looking at stuff in certain ways that we accept them as valid due to their aesthetic relevance and their pleasing composition and their getting the design elements and everything right. And it's incredible. And I think there's always been a questions between ethic and art, and I ain't going to jump too far into this on this, but it's an interesting debate on how people in photographers show beautiful images of people dying or who are less fortunate than themselves. And my only view on it, I've got a lot of particular in-depth views on it, but we're conditioned to look in a certain way, and when we look at something, when something's aligned properly and is in perfect balance as a photograph, we validate it as a sort of truth. We accept it as a valid composition and as a valid piece of information. Obviously, stuff can be hit and miss sometimes, and we expect that pictures, when they're delivering a message, are beautifully presented to part that sort of to show that it is a valid source of information. I know it's a bit skimmy on the surface, but anyway, I won't tell too much, and this is amazing. Look at this. Look at the access. Incredible. This is Andrew Moore's work. Look at that. Let's come down on this a little bit more so we can get the full picture. Look at that. Beautiful. Depth of field there. Just showing the separation. Depth of field work's amazing when you've got like 1.8 or something like that, or 2.4, and then you get sort of significant symbolic stuff in the background. You don't need to focus on it, you know, they just speak for themselves, stuff like that. And looking through the LCD screen, it does look a little bit more in focus, but in the actual shot, that's well out of focus. There's a bit of grain on there, but boom, great shot. Child in a Halloween mask was the funeral of 2 Catholics killed in '93. Protestant marches in Portadown. So it's interesting that Andrew's he's covering both sides here, which is interesting. British soldier patrolling the Catholic estates. The funeral of a Protestant killed in a sectarian attack. There's so much hurt and bloodshed and sadness around that. Gideon Mendel. Before I jump into this, Gideon's just shot an amazing project, which I've been looking at, and it's about people who are the victims of flooding around the world. And he's shot, I don't know how you've managed to do this, Gideon, but you've managed to shoot the people in the floods still in the water. So they've gone back and visited the people underwater. And there's a shot I saw the other day of Gideon actually taking the pictures of these people. So setting the scene, somebody's house is flooded, say I can't remember, Bangladesh or somewhere like that. So Gideon's taking portraits of the people half submerged in their flooded homes. It's beautiful, and it's such a great idea. And I saw a shot of Gideon taking a picture the other day, and he's literally submerged in it, and he's not covered himself in rubber wellies or anything like that. He's in there, and he's taking it like the villagers and the people who are covered in water. Anyway, I'm waffling, but I love Gideon Mendel's stuff. I think Gideon Mendel's he's always shown a great compassion within his work, and I've always found some beauty in Gideon's work and his subject matter and his African work especially. So this is last autumn, a few months after the aeroplane crash which killed the entire Zambian soccer team. Gideon Mendel took these pictures of a country seized with an almost holy passion for football. So like I said, even before getting that, there's always some sort of sympathy with his work, and I do appreciate that. And I see a lot of Gideon's Twitter feeds and stuff like that, and he's always shown compassion to people and stuff, and it's a really interesting person. There's a picture coming up next which I remember. It's this shot. I do remember this shot. I remember this being published at the time, and I remember that. And the Zambian team posed for a picture, and a beauty Olympian journalist on the Times Zambia interviewed a Zambian captain after the victory over Senegal, and watching a football match in the streets of Lusaka. I remember this shot. I love this shot. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Look at that. How powerful is that? Look at that. Look at. It's amazing. It's really nice to see something by Roger Hutchings in. Roger Hutchings is so understated within the media. I love Roger's work, and this is from the ashes for much of the 6 months before the siege of Sarajevo, where Roger spent a lot of time. Roger Hutchings photographed the people of the city. Here a woman holds out her hand, a touch of neighbour's baby next to the devastated building in which they live. He's very active still, Roger, doing his thing. He did a lot of fashion stuff after this, and I like Roger's work. I just think he's so understated now, and I think, you know, we need to see a bit more of Roger's work, and Roger shooting some work and getting out there now. And I'd like to see Roger's take on 2019. That's what I'd like to see, if that makes any sense. Ken Grant's photographs, Wirral, Peninsula. Just been here, just been to see some of the stuff with Parr and wood and stuff like that. And it's just amazing sort of view on New Brighton and that. And I love these. And look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Right in the heart of it. You can see how this has inspired people like, you know, the Peter Marlows, and even Martin Parr would have been inspired by this. You can see how other photographers have developed their work based on this sort of getting in the living room of people's lives shots, you know. Definitely, this is definitely, if you come down on that, definitely Peter Marlowe got inspiration from this, you know. This was definitely around the same time or just before Martin was, Peter was doing his work. You can just see the technique as well. There's a technique which he's using there, which is a very similar technique to what Peter used. Brilliant, such good. It's good, it's good. Now, I don't know how to pronounce this name, but it's Gerard Uferas, and it might be totally wrong. So this is beautiful, isn't it? This is Salzburg Festival, Austria, the Crow and Leo Gen X from the House of the Dead. I guess it's just a sort of backstage and theatre photographer. You can see he's looking for ambiguity, or whatever the word is. He's looking for abstract, he's looking to make it surreal. It's beautiful, it's beautiful. Isn't that lovely? It's almost dreamlike. It's almost like they're there, they're dressed up, they're doing a stage play, and it's almost like it doesn't finish when they're behind the scenes, and afterwards he's continuing that sort of break from reality, even behind the stage, and in the green rooms and backstages even. continuing that process. Here's the poster. I'll show you in a second. Pedro Maya, Mexican photographer. The images have been electronically altered. I think it's about Maya's work and his how he alters the reality in his pictures. And again, it's called, this is an exhibition of Pedro Maya's work, Truths and Fictions, a journey from documentary to digital photography, Impressions Gallery, York. I love this bit. I love that Colin Jacobson actually threw stuff into the arena, got other photographers to talk about how they changed and altered their work. This looks like that Russian photographer who changed he used people's motions to create, Titrenko or something like that, who he used the fast slow shutter speed to get people's motions, and then there was that many people walking, it was like a fog. It was incredible. I love the fact that Colin does this, and I love the fact that that they bring it up really interesting talking points within photography in terms of the truth and reality. George Roger, South Africa's first multiracial elections take place in the spring. Let's jump this down. Daniel Francois Milan arriving at Pretoria Station after winning the country's first post-war elections in 1948. Very lucky that I met George Roger in his time. I was very privileged to spend a day with him. It's lovely. That is Andrew Moore's stuff there. Let's have a look at the poster. And if I've got any more of these, I will definitely put them online. I've done 3. These are the first 3 I found. Look at that. Let's get this. Wow. Michael Yasukovich, Eastern the Philippines. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. So, great. Love this. I love just showing you these. I'm not trying to change anybody's opinion. I'm not trying to change anything really. I just want to show you this stuff, give you a chance to hear somebody else delve into it rather than looking at them on the internet, and just go and buy them. You can still pick these up. There's still, I'll put the links to where to buy these things. Go and buy them. You can buy them for a couple of quid. Thank you.